welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammett.
Lee here.
And Roy here also.
The Daily Dribble team once again back fit and firing on the 29th of January for an absolutely action-packed episode.
Sure.
We're stoked to be here today. A lot in store, is there not, right?
There is, as our listeners won't know until next week, but we've invested in ourselves throughout the week. We've acquired some really top quality equipment for the coming weeks going forward. So
soundboard on the way, new mics on the way, potentially new podcasting hosting platform on the way.
Yeah, sure.
We're doing a lot of behind the scenes work, guys, so we appreciate you sticking with us. Even today we've just transitioned into Lee to, as opposed to doing the video recording off Zoom as we normally do, we've just got the video camera here today.
So no lag whatsoever, so it'll be good for you guys.
What a difference that makes. There's nothing worse than watching a video. It's just so triggering. So we're super stoked. For any of our YouTube listeners out there, I hope you guys are having a far better time than you have the last week or two, but we certainly have a lot to look forward to in the coming week.
Yep.
Guys, just quickly, as I said, big episode in store. We're going to do a Daily Dribble international draft. We're going to each comprise a team of 6, just consisting purely of international players. We'll get shortly to the rules and stipulations and the order and things of the kind with that momentarily. As well, we'll run through some odds and ends from throughout the week and discuss the week that was from the NBA, some of the key talking points from matches during the week. Before we get into it though, guys, a couple of quick housekeeping points. Continue to hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to the show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you're a Google Podcast listener, all of the platforms, we're on them. Hit that subscribe button, as well as staying up to date with our socials, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We certainly appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Yep.
Now we've done some behind the scenes work, ironed out some, audio and video issues. We'll be able to continue pumping out that content, so you don't want to miss out on that.
You don't.
But
another thing you don't want to miss out on.
Oh, dearie me. What a segue.
What a segue. Our main man, our new sponsors, Manscaped. Take it away, big guy.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you're growing up, hair starts to appear in places that it previously didn't appear before.
It does.
We're talking about the nose, we're talking about the ears, we're talking about places which you'd rather not see. Yep. But more specifically, the nose and the ears in this case. You do not want, I'm 100% assuring you, you do not want hair bulging out of your nostrils and your ears. It's not a great look. It's hard to keep eye contact with someone when you can see them bulging out. Mm-hmm. Now, we've got a resolution to this.
Oh, yes.
The Manscaped Weed Whacker. Dearie me, I tell you what, this does absolute wonders for your nostrils, keeping it smooth as a baby's bottom. And the ears as well. You know, you want those clean as anything at all times. This is an absolute lifesaver. Now, this one will set you back $59.99, but for Daily Dribble listeners, 20% off.
It brings it to 48 with free shipping. It's not only 20% off, you get free shipping too.
Now, you want to put in the code DRIBBLE20 when you're at checkout for this bad boy. You'll thank us later. Dearie me, this is one of the best sort of pieces of equipment for the nose and the ears.
And unfortunately, I guess the results speak for themselves. If people could see up your nostrils right now, I'm just having a quick peek, and they are just spotless,
crystal clear. But it is one of the best pieces of equipment if you want to stop that aging process. Because I tell you what, I think when I look at people with heaps of hair up their nose, I think they're not taking care of themselves as well as they could be.
And we pride ourselves on that here.
We do. But to be fair to some people, it's not as easily accessible to cut those, nose hairs and the ear hairs. But this product makes it so easy. And the other thing is, it's got skin-safe technology. Yeah. So what that means is, when you're cutting these hairs up your nose and in your ears, there's not going to be any nicks or there's not going to be any damage to the inside of your nose, which is the last thing we want. It's super safe, super efficient. You'll get it done in no time, and just an all-round great product.
Manscaped, guys, if you want to look as fresh as we do, use that code just below. Input it at manscaped.com, dribble20, and you can look as fresh and as fit as us.
Oh, dearie me. One of the best products.
Boom! Let's go. Let's get into it, guys. Odds and ends, big week on the basketball front. I might kickstart us with the news that took place earlier in the week, and it was the hard foul on Alex Caruso from none other than Grayson Allen.
Now, I've never been high on Grayson Allen, and now I think everyone's hopping on my train.
Well, he went down, he put in a hard foul on Caruso mid-air, which resulted in Alex Caruso, after just coming back, I think he only played 2 games, he's going to be out to 6 to 8 weeks with a wrist fracture. Now, it was just a really horrible play for anyone, but given Grayson Allen's history, he's notoriously...
It's not a first-time thing.
He's not a first-time offender. He got a 1-game suspension, but he also found his way number 1 on, I think, a lot of people's shit list.
Yeah, he did.
That was a really hard foul, and the fact is, even after the play, there was no kind of sense of remorse.
No. I saw a smirk.
There was smiling and things of the kind going on with him over at the bench. He has since said it was a joke that someone told him.
Bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Sure it was, Gray.
Nevertheless, though, Caruso out for 6 to 8 weeks after just coming back. That's a big blow to the Bulls.
Yeah.
Look, it's not the player you want to do it to if you don't want to become the new NBA villain. Grayson Allen is 100% going to be the new NBA villain going forward.
And not in a Trae Young good villain way.
No.
It's in a shit villain
like
way.
Caruso, as like us, the people's champion, he's really almost become a talisman for the league over the last year or two. The ultimate underdog to a certain extent. Doesn't look like a natural baller, but people just love him, and kind of having Allen put him on the sideline for 6 to 8 weeks isn't going to endear him to anyone.
There's 2 guys you don't want to mess with if you want to stay in the NBA community's good books. Alex Caruso and Matty Dellavedova. I think it's fair to say, but he's in a lot of trouble, that guy.
I was thinking, is 1 game suspension enough for him? And I was like, look, it's probably not. But the absolute backlash he's received, and the fact that he's probably going to be known now for the rest of his career as just a dirty dog player, it's not a good look. And I'm actually pretty happy how he has received that backlash.
I think 1 game was probably generous. They had to do something.
Yeah.
They had to give a suspension somewhere. I think it resulted in him losing that 1 game, 26 grand due to match payment.
Yeah.
But certainly hope for a speedy recovery for Caruso. He had so much. He brings so much intensity and hustle on that defensive end for that Bulls team. So having him go down, I know our main man Apex would have been pretty devastated by that. Probably our number 1 Bulls fan at the Daily Dribble, but certainly hope to see him back on the court soon.
I'll go, and we've had the old NBA All-Star starters announced. Now I'll start with the West. So in the guard positions, we've got Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan, very well deserving. In the forward position, we've got Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Durant, and in the centre position we've got Joel Embiid, which I think is very deserving for the East. Let's move it over to the West. Okay, so in the guard position we've got Steph Curry, Ja Morant, deserving. I'll put our centre in there. We've got Nikola Jokic. Forwards we've got LeBron.
We're building up to something, I feel.
And we've got Andrew Wiggins.
Yes. Now, what a pointed debate this has been for NBA circles over the last 24 to 48 hours. Where do you guys sit on this one? Well, I know we put up a post on our socials a couple of, was it last night, the day before? But where do you guys sit on the Andrew Wiggins situation?
I guess my reaction now is surprised, because I was looking at the votes and I was like, Canada's getting behind him, Golden State's getting behind him, but when they're just fan votes, and that's just 50%. When the other 50% come in, I think he'll be lucky to make the bench. He's made the starters. I'm overall surprised. They would have got the same outcome if Draymond Green, who would have been more deserving, got in there. Like Golden State, I'm surprised. But I'm happy for him. In saying that, I am happy for him.
It's one of those strange ones, isn't it? Because it's not like he's an absolute mean player who doesn't deserve any credit whatsoever, because he's had a fairly solid season. Now, does he deserve an all-star starter spot? No, he doesn't. Does he deserve a bench spot in the West? You could argue and say no, he doesn't either. It does come down to partly the fans' vote, and in this case,
it's funny when you see that list of players, isn't it, who were selected as starters. There's a glaring inclusion within that.
It's the black sheep, isn't it? Like when you're looking through all those superstar players who have played at a high level for a really long time, and then you see him. I don't know, it's a strange one, but I guess when you're taking into account the fans' vote as well, you're likely to have some of these sort of outliers.
Just quickly, what do you reckon the bookies would be putting on Andrew Wiggins to be the last selected player for the starters?
I reckon if you can go below $1,
he would be a short-priced favourite
I
there.
thought so.
Just on that All-Star weekend, there's also been a bit of a changing format to the Rising Stars game.
Yep,
It's now going to consist of 4 teams in a round-robin tournament featuring rookies, sophomores, and a couple of G League Ignite players.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Which really excites me. You didn't read our post, like?
I didn't hear about the G League bit.
You didn't
I
read
missed
our
it.
post,
I
mate?
missed out on that bit.
Read the fine print.
The fine print, mate. Come on.
Yes,
But you know what really excites me about this? The potential to hopefully see Josh Giddey and Dyson Daniels together.
double D.
Whew, look out. This is exciting. That's a change in format. So 28 players it's going to be. So 12 rookies, 12 sophomores, and 4 G League Ignite players.
Yep.
And with the semi-finals and the final, there's going to be a target score. So for the semi-finals, the target score is 50.
Okay.
And for the final, 25. So it's that Elam ending that we've seen for the normal All-Star game over the last couple of years. And I know we're creatures of habit. Humans in general.
I guess.
I know, I think it might have been the first year when they had that Elam ending and we were up in Queensland watching it and we were just, this is awesome. The intensity that it brought, normally the All-Star game can be a bit of a kind of a Mickey Mouse event.
Yeah.
But that brought so much intensity to it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this format plays out for the Rising Stars.
And it's smart too from the NBA because it brings up more anticipation for the draft. You know,
Yep.
You might not know some of these G League players. I certainly don't sometimes, but G League players, do they go into the draft or no?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Well, it
But
brings
the G League Ignite players will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So looking forward to that. Just a couple of quick little injuries here for myself. Tim Hardaway for the Mavs, he suffered a fracture in his left foot, his 5th metatarsal. He will be out. There's no determined date on this, but out for an extended time.
Okay.
Had a bit of a down season, Tim, this year. So
much so that he was out of the rotation for a little while.
out of the rotation, he started in my fantasy team. He quickly got moved on, but again, a blow for the Mavs. They're kind of lacking a little bit of scoring in areas. We've seen Brunson take an uptick in that, but still, it is a big blow. He's shown flashes that he's capable of being not a superstar player, but maybe a star player.
A solid supporting player.
Absolutely. Also for the Blazers, Nasir Little will miss the rest of the season with a left shoulder labral tear. So again, he's had an improved season, and that kind of just almost sums up the Blazers year, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They are in all sorts, but still hanging on to 10th spot. Unbelievable.
For how long?
Well,
That's the question.
The Pelicans, after we'd written them off, they were 1-12 to start the season.
Yeah, horrendous.
I think they've since then, if I saw correctly, they've gone just about 500. So they're hanging around there, and if Zion comes back, they're probably not a 10th seed that you would want to face.
Will Zion come back? What's your gut feel on that?
I reckon if they make it, if they're in a play-in spot, he will.
If they're in and around the picture?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he will, and I think
haven't even got a timetable though. Like it's too hard.
Gets bums on seats. Gets if they can somehow eke out a couple of wins and make the playoffs, you want to get reps into him. He's still the face of the franchise.
You just don't want to bring him back too early if you're
that's
the
the
Pelicans.
risk.
Because you bring him back too early, he suffers another injury. That could be career altering. And
imagine what a letdown that would be.
Oh, it'd be absolutely sick.
The build towards him was just on that level of LeBron and things of the kind.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly what happened to not to the level of LeBron, but when Clay got injured again, he came straight back. He got injured in practice.
Yeah,
and we were all devastated. That happened to Zion as well. Now, God, I couldn't imagine how the NBA community would feel.
Well, there you go, lads. Also, speaking of high caliber players, this is as of January 24th.
Okay.
The latest MVP rankings have come out.
Give it to us.
Now, let me run through the top 10 here. So, I think this has since changed in the last day or two, but as of the 24th, we had Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, KD, Chris Paul up to 5th.
Oh, wow.
Steph Curry 6th, followed by DeMar DeRozan, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James. How's that for a star-studded top 10?
That's CP sneaking into that top 5.
He
must have been going under the radar.
He had a massive triple-double today in their win. Forgive me, that was over the Wolves.
Yes.
He is really... I think starting to generate some buzziness, partly for the phenomenal things he's doing now. This team is so fun to watch because it's almost for the first 3 quarters, Devin Booker runs the show.
Yes.
And Chris Paul comes in, I saw an analogy like baseball. He comes in the 9th innings and just swings it home.
He does.
You know, that's Babe Ruth out of the park. He's just been a stone cold killer and really guides them to victory.
He's one of those guys who, and there's only a handful in the league, but he's one of those guys who takes over in the 4th quarter and can actually will your team to victory. He's incredibly clutch, CP. Always has been.
They're sitting at 39-9 at the minute on a 9-game win streak. They've not reached double-digit for losses yet. As I said, massive triple-double today, leading the league in assists.
Yep.
If they finish, let's say, with a 65-win season,
Right.
is he generating MVP talk?
He's not. And it's unfortunate because
you're just dismissing that. Bang, go on.
I'm dismissing it like that.
That's CP.
I'm sorry, CP3, but unless Nikola Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid all get injured simultaneously for the rest of the season, he's not winning it, and that's it's just a fact. I know I'd love to see CP3.
Do you take into account, say the Nuggets are battling around the 6th?
Yeah.
I think the Bucks are down to 6th. They might have won today, crept up a little, and likewise with the Sixers. But if they finish the number 1 seed, they win by a country mile. As I said, 65 wins. That's in a pretty elite group, and he's orchestrating, led the league in assists. It's like, you know, a former Sun MVP winner, Steve Nash, very reminiscent of that.
He'd have to play amazingly for the rest of the season, which I don't doubt he'll do. But I know where your team finishes at the end of the regular season plays a fair big part in the MVP race. But I think these other players just have it out for him.
I think he's missing it that quickly.
I think he'll certainly be in contention. The thing that will hurt him, and the reason which I don't think he's likely to win it, even if they have a great record, is it often does come down to the fact that if you have supporting players on your team, for example, they have Devin Booker, who's playing very admirably this year. I think that's likely to take some of the MVP talk away from CP3. Whereas we look at some of these other players, and particularly Nikola Jokic, and you even look at Embiid. They're sort of the main obvious glaring guys on their team who will their team to victory. Now,
so that kind of neutralises the fact they're number 1 a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. In saying that, I mean, we look at Giannis, for example. He's won it in the past, and he's had Chris Middleton. Was Drew Holiday
but he might have
the
been
MVP year, but he's had players around him, so it's not ruling it out, but it probably makes it a little bit more difficult when you've got those other guys around you.
Right, quick question then, last point on that.
Yep.
Out of those 10 players I just mentioned, who's got the best narrative? Because we know a big part of the MVP race is narrative.
It is.
I'd almost go to say Joel Embiid. I would, just because he's pretty much, aside from Tobias Harris, done it all on himself this year without
leading it last year until he went down with injury.
Yep.
Jeez, I tell you what, narrative. Ja Morant, if he was to win it this year,
he's at 8th at the moment.
Goodness me! No one even envisaged the Memphis Grizzlies to play as well as they did.
Most improved player.
Most improved could be MVP. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just not. He's been incredible, and I think the narrative of a guy, an underdog, coming from absolute nowhere to win the MVP, that would be an incredible story.
Might be recency bias because we've just spoken about it. I'm going to say Chris Paul.
Yep.
Just because, he's gone his whole career, never won a finals, never been an MVP, he's kind of almost reinvented himself to a certain extent, moulding to each situation and just taking winning culture wherever he goes. He has got this team absolutely humming. For as many times we saw Devin Booker go for 50 the other night.
Yeah.
But he is still at 36, is he?
He must be.
36 or whatever the case may be, the focal point of that team. Yeah. The way he plays with such composure, he's the most clutch player in the league at the minute in terms of his ability to ice the game in that last 5 minutes when it's, down to the wire.
In terms of longevity, is Chris Paul one of the best players to ever play the game? I don't think he's had a bad season.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, he's been incredible for so long,
and he's getting better. He's like LeBron, almost getting better with age. So I'll say Chris Paul. I think
I love that.
This MVP race, as I said, all 10 of those players phenomenal in their own right. It's going to be a hell of a battle in the second half of the season.
Very keen.
Guys, is that all from NBA odds and ends?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I'm going to rip into some real quick NBL points here. Now, we saw the Jack Jumpers during the week. They went down to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, 76-63.
Yep.
kind of continued on a bit of a trend that we've started to notice fading out in the second half. But they bounced back last night in tremendous fashion, beating Adelaide 76-71. Josh Adams, after what's been probably a pretty underwhelming season from both him and Josh Majette there, he put up 24 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and really kind of played with that intensity that we've seen in flashes. And it was just awesome. That what it meant. Did you guys see the video of our mate Scott Ross? He was going off his rocket. If you see a coach with more intensity and passion for winning a game in the middle of the season, like let me know, because he was going off his rocket.
I think particularly Tasmanians, but I think the whole NBL community and the whole Australian basketball community love to see that. You love to see someone who has invested
Where's his
so much,
slave?
Yeah, to come out and show that he cares that much about it. It's not just like a paid gig. I'll coach a year or two and then head off. He looks like he's fully invested in the Jack Jumpers, and I'm so glad that he's our coach, because you want a coach who truly cares. You don't want one there for the paycheck. So
makes a hell of a difference. It really does. Awesome to see. With that win, they jump up to 8th at 3-6 on the season. So hopefully this can be a bit of a catalyst for building some momentum now in that second half of the season. Melbourne United, though, on an 8-game win streak, they just continue to roll along, and that top 4 now is really starting to separate itself. That kind of gulf in talent is starting to show. So the United lead, Perth in behind them, followed by the Phoenix there, and then the Illawarra Hawks, and they're just, you know, all such solid teams. If that's the final 4 going into the playoffs, it's going to be an absolute treat. The calibre of players, you know, you look at, as we said, United, Goulding, you look at Delhi, you go to Perth, Cotton, Vic Law, go down to the Phoenix, you got Mitch Creek leading the way, Illawarra Hawks, Justinian Jessup, Tyler Harvey. Across the board, those 4 teams, you know, you wouldn't like to pick a winner. So it's awesome to see.
I think we've said it, you know, in previous weeks, but just in terms of top-end talent in the NBL at the moment, I think it's probably as good as we've seen it, particularly in some time. We've got plenty of NBA quality guys in the NBL, and it's such a good product to watch.
The standards continuing to elevate. So guys, as we say, broken record, but check out the NBL. If you've got a bit of downtime, you need some basketball action, the NBA's not on, check it out, you will not regret it.
I need to say something. I know we miss Delhi being in the NBA, but you must love to see him get just game time and minutes and actually lead a team in the NBL. I know I sure do.
That's a great point, actually, because yes, it hurts my heart massively to not see Delhi in the elite basketball program in the world, but to see him actually showcasing what he can bring to that Melbourne United team, goodness me, I'm so glad we get to see that every single week.
I'm just going to put another feeler out there. You tell me if you disagree with me. We've got Marco Bellinelli here. I think Rome might be a Delhi lookalike almost. I wouldn't take that.
That is the nicest thing Liam's ever said. Without a
take that.
I'd say that.
I'm actually welling up a little bit.
I feel like we need to go back to the drawing board on this Bellinelli.
No, that is 100% spot on.
I really don't know about it.
Mate, look, I'm normally with you, but
I think since I've had a haircut, I think we can almost... I've shed that persona.
Maybe you're Bellinelli with a fresh trim.
Oh, there we go. I'll take it right.
It's the helmet strap. It's the helmet strap, and it's the little moz. It's everything.
Give me a fair go. All right, lads. Well, we've ripped the odds and ends there. We're going to get into our international draft. Whilst I do so, Lee's going to fire up the random generator for me.
Get this up.
As per normal, our Daily Dribble rules, anything as a draft, we leave it to chance. You know, fortune favours the brave.
For every single round?
Every round.
Yep.
How we're going to do it, Lee's going to fire up the generator, as I alluded to. So, you know, for all we know, I could get the number 1 pick in each round. I could get the number 3 pick. You wouldn't know.
God, how sick would that be?
We're going to start in the order of point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, centre. And then we're going to add a 6th man. It can be any player you like that's left on the board, just to round out our squad. I did mention, I was almost thinking of adding in the little caveat that we can only choose 1 player from each particular nation, but we've scrapped that. So what we're going to do, we're going to pose out, we're going to have 6 players each. At the end of it, during the week, we're going to put up these squads. You let us know who has the best team.
Who are you rolling with?
You know, who is your team? If you had to go into battle with these 6 players, who you got? Ro, myself, or Lee?
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Oh, just give me one number one pick. That's all I ask.
So how should we do this? I've got the number generator up. Should I press it? Say, Ro, you've got number.
All right, look at that. How's 1, 2, and 3?
Rightio.
Done. The point guard round. The number one pick.
You're a man of law.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, do you want me to write that down?
No. Okay. So who gets the first pick?
And the point guard round. Okay, we're having 2.
Also, that's you, but also, I'm going to go back on that. I don't think it should be the point guard round. I think it should be anyone. What do you mean the point guard round? I wouldn't... I'd just go anyone. You get to pick anyone in the draft, not just a point guard.
Oh, is that how you want?
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. Well,
Oh, he's throwing a spanner in the works. You don't want to go by the positions? We each pick a...
No.
Oh, okay. He's thrown up an
But
absolute...
you've still got the number one pick. What are you complaining
Because
about?
now I'm scared as to what to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Does me or Road have the number 2 pick? Give it to me. It's 2.
I think it's me again. Like I'm just getting all the pick.
keeping
This guy cannot run a random generator. Like, mate, you've got the worst program
You
here.
try press generate.
You've got
man.
the worst program here.
this is horrendous.
This is horrific. This is planning at its absolute finest. This is unbelievable. Okay, I'm gonna make my pick while Lee sorts it out. Seeing as
You don't see this happen in the draft.
God damn! I tell you what, Adam Silver would be pulling. I was about to say that he'd be pulling hair out if he had me.
Okay, it's working. So you've got the number 1. I've got number 2. Okay, I'm happy.
Followed by Rowe. Okay.
Okay. So that took about 3 minutes. Now let's get into it.
So my shooting guard is going to be Luka Doncic.
Really?
Okay.
I've got to take him. The number 1 pick, Luka Doncic, rocking with me.
Okay. In my power forward position,
Yeah.
give me Giannis.
Oh dear.
Now, was it always going to be Giannis?
Yeah, that was my number 1 pick. It surprised me when you took Luka Doncic.
I just have to. I know there's a lot of good quality big men, but I have to take him. I'll be going with Nikola Jokic at the centre position.
Okay. Wow, there you go. The big Serbian gets Rowe's number 1 nod.
Been stitched up with that third pick to begin with. Let's
What do we got for round 2, Lee?
Round 2. Who's going first? I am.
I feel like you might not have hit generator.
Yeah, I did.
Alright.
And who's going second?
Oh,
You are. So it does work. It just
this is rotten.
this is horrible. You're in all sorts here. Lee, who is your number 1 pick for round 2 in the Daily Dribble International Draft?
Round 2. I am gonna go for, and I'm gonna do it. I need a juggernaut at my centre. I'm going for probably the best defensive player in the league right now, Rudy Gobert.
Okay, he's gone.
Wow, probably the Defensive Player of the Year. Will be a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year if he wins it this year, I believe.
I reckon. Big man from France.
Just quickly, just filling in the holes. Do you think he will get it, or would you have? I reckon Giannis and Draymond. Draymond dropping off with injury, but I reckon it's probably Rudy or Giannis at the moment.
It's been Gobert's best year, I reckon.
Yeah,
I reckon he's got it.
I think so, and probably as well he'll get a little more shine because a lot of effort will go to MVP for Giannis.
Yep.
Yeah, he's almost getting to the point where he's underrated now, isn't he?
He
Rudy
is.
Gobert.
And he's been a bit better offensively as well.
Which I like. I got him in
so
my
do I.
fantasy team now, and it's awesome. You just know you're getting about 15 and 15.
Oh god,
That's fantastic.
That turned my fantasy season around for the worst when I traded him to you for AD, who little did I know was out for 6 weeks when I traded him.
That'll get you,
So
mate. That'll
that'll
get you.
do
That's
it.
where seasons are made or torn down, I guess.
Should have read the fine print. But anyway, Nick.
Well, I'm going to go to partner alongside Luka Doncic. I'm going to go from Cameroon, maybe getting to the point where he could be almost MVP favourite at the moment. Joel Embiid. He's playing arguably career best ball at the minute.
Yep.
What he's doing across the board in terms of scoring, I think he's run this at it's plus 10, I believe, plus 10 games now, 30 points or more.
Yep.
Rebounding fantastically well as actually assisting and getting a few of these other players within the game, knowing that he can't do it all himself for a whole season.
Yep.
Since he's come back from COVID there, he's looked awesome. So Joel Embiid will be my centre.
Good one.
Now, third pick. I reckon I'm going to take the point guard position.
Yep.
Kyrie Irving.
But I don't
had
think
him
this
too.
counts.
Why? He's Australian.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
telling me Kyrie Irving's not a point guard before James Harden?
I'm talking about Australian. I don't think
He was
he's...
born in Australia. He's
Yeah.
an international player.
Yeah, for how many years? Like 2? 2 years?
I had him on my list too,
Yeah.
so
I didn't have him.
I thought he was fair game.
Have it.
You type in international players in Google and Kyrie Irving comes up on it.
So when
Any list.
Okay, so when you think of does Kyrie Irving and Paddy Mills have the same Australian pride to you? As an
That's not
Australian?
the point. He's
He's
an international
Australian.
player.
Dual citizenship, mate.
Okay, whatever.
I give it to him, and
Yep.
did you see the note that came out during the week? He thinks he might be slowly working into his prime at the minute. He said,
Oh, that's scary.
31, isn't he?
Yeah, he must be
31,
getting
31
on a
I
bit,
believe he is now. But he has still got probably one of, if not the tightest handle in the league. His ball control is it's pure wizardry to watch.
Oh, it is. Now, in my hypothetical team, Kyrie Irving plays away games as well, so just a little
Nah, he plays
disclaimer.
that.
So if you're okay, yep, no, I'm with him.
I've got a better generator up, so we'll do this
Oh, about
round.
time. It only
Thank
took us 3 rounds.
Christ.
I didn't know I had generating duties. Nick's whipped that to me.
You've got to step up here. It's
Okay, in the order it goes.
Give us one.
1, 3, 2.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, investigation into this random generator. I would've thought. 3 third picks in a row.
You're
number
second, pal.
You'll see.
Okay, take it back. Take it back. I was
Somebody
already,
get this
I was
guy
already
an
in an angry
ambulance.
mood.
Okay.
Alright, Lee, what have you got for us?
Because international point guards and even shooting guards are pretty short-handed, I've got to go with a point guard.
Okay.
And I'm going to take Shea, the all-round juggernaut. He's good at everything, this guy. I'm taking Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay.
Right.
There you go. Again, for himself, another really fantastic season. He is...
He took on the reins, like, as soon as Chris Paul left, it was his team, and he's... I know they're pretty bottom dwellers right now, but they're doing not
I
bad.
keep toing and throwing whether or not I believe if he was on, say, a more competent team, whether he would be as good as a number one still.
He's one of those guys.
I just can't put my finger on it. He's looked like certainly not taking anything away. He's looked fantastic this season. Him and Giddy together. I just don't know. But
Do you put him in the same boat as like DeJounte Murray in that regard?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another player who I don't know if he can lead a franchise to a playoffs.
Yep.
You know, probably a really good number two to facilitate, even though Shea's more of a scorer. There's a question I saw during the week. That's a good little segue, right?
Yeah.
If you had to pick to build a franchise around at the moment, Shea or Murray, who would you take?
I really love everything that Murray can do from an offensive to a defensive end.
Yep.
He's shown that he can lead a team. I would take DeJounte Murray.
There you go, Lee.
Very hard one.
Don't sleep on him.
I'd have to take Murray as well. I can't speak so highly of him and not take him, but the fact that that was such a hard decision proves how good of a player Shea is.
I'm going to take Shea just because this year I think he's not only scoring, but I think his facilitating's been a little bit better. Not to the level of Murray, but I also give the fact that he's 2 years younger.
Yeah.
I give that some weight as well. So to start a franchise, I think he's probably more marketable.
Yeah.
Just if we were looking to
Yeah.
start a
He
franchise
is.
from that perspective,
He's more flashy, isn't he?
yeah, absolutely.
Whereas
Murray's just meat and
Murray's
potatoes. You know
exactly
what you're getting.
right,
It's going to taste good, but it's not going to rock your world like Shea's maybe a little taco night.
Shay's disaster. Dessert.
Dessert, yeah, I do love dessert.
Yes.
Ro, who have you got for your number 2 pick in the 3rd round of the Daily Dribble draft?
Number 2 pick, I'll go at my power forward position. Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabbath, good one.
Now, dearie me, he's probably had a down year in comparison to what we've been used to the last few years with Domantas Sabonis, but I think at his best, and I'm sure we'll see this eventually, whether he stay at the Pacers or most likely if he gets traded, I think he's going to get back to being that 22 and 12 type player who can dish the ball. He's a really good passing big man. So I love Sabonis and very happy to have him at that PF position.
This changes my little plans. It's, okay, alright. I'm going to take...
Think about it.
Wow, this is tough now. This is really getting tough. I'm going to take as my power forward.
Yep.
I truly believe he's still got superstar potential. He's shown it at flashes. and I love chemistry.
Yes.
I'm going to take Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Lithuanian. I'm going to take just purely that, him and Doncic coming along together. They've got that
Little combo.
little combo. You put Embiid with them. There's some tall timber in this team, but I think Porzingis at plus 7 feet, he's going to really help on the defensive end.
Yep.
And the only thing I like as well is the fact both him and Embiid can shoot threes.
Spread the floor.
Spread the floor as big men. One can stay out on the arc a little more, and one can just dominate in the paint. Probably more so Embiid. But yeah, I like that. Porzingis is my number 3. Lee, what have we got for the 4th round? We're halfway through, lads.
4th round, it's gonna go 2, 3, 1. So Nick wrote.
Okay. He sounds flat. He sounds very flat.
Okay. I should probably look at taking now.
So let's just rattle off our team so far. So I've got Shea, Giannis, and Gobert, which I'm happy with so
Alright.
far.
I'm running with Luka Doncic, Porzingis, and Embiid.
And so far I'm rocking with Kyrie Irving, Sabonis, and Nikola Jokic. Things get interesting now because the superstar players are off the board and we're having to dig a bit deeper. But who do you reckon you'll go with this pick, Nick?
I'm gonna take now.
She's tough.
This is tough. I'm gonna look at my other guard position. Now I'm weighing up between 2. I'm weighing up
Don't
between.
make the wrong decision, Nick.
This is tough. I'm really feeling pressure on this one. I'm gonna take with my 4th pick. Damn.
Do it.
I'm just trying to think what my team needs.
Yeah, like you can't
okay.
just put all scoring.
No, I've got it.
okay,
That's helped me clear it up. Just those little words of wisdom to myself. I'm going to take Jamal Murray
Right.
Good one.
as my other guard spot alongside Luka Doncic, purely for the fact just weighing up what my team needs. I've got some big guys. I want a crafty ball handler as well, but someone who's really capable from 3.
Yep.
Murray, it's a shame we haven't seen him. And I'm just having, with injury this year, but I'm having flashbacks to Bubble Murray. Watching him and Donovan Mitchell just cook for 50 each. He's got really high potential from Canada. I think he will be a nice addition to my team of 4 so far.
I know why you took a while to answer that time, Nick, because I'm looking at the players on my list and it's quite difficult.
It's getting tough.
Now, this one's going to be super controversial.
Right. We love controversy.
I think at my small forward position,
this is a tough position, this.
I'm going with a guy who hasn't played this year.
Okay.
How's that work?
Murray.
How's it? Oh, okay, yeah. But is he his small forward? Like I know he can
This
play
is where
1
it comes
through
into
5,
account.
but he's a point guard, a shooting guard.
What?
He's
Not a shooting guard.
He's not a shooting guard. But
I
he can-
have Ben Simmons at my small forward position.
small forward.
I'd
say-
I tell you what, I would more. If you said power forward,
Power forward.
Oh.
What do you reckon? It's majority rules, isn't it? So if you think I'll go to another.
you know
pick.
what's funny? Because I was tossing up before I became to the voice of reason. I was tossing up between Murray and Simmons. Then
Right. Okay. You can say no, and I'll go back to the drawing board. But
Small forward.
power forward. No, small forward.
small forward. Yep.
Nah.
Yep. No.
Oh no, well he's not that big, is he? He's 6'8".
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we're going to another pick.
Oh no, you could.
No, I'd say no because I wouldn't have put him in the small forward.
I didn't put him in. The
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. My next pick, my sort of backup pick, I'll go with first-time All-Star starter Andrew Wiggins.
he was
I
on
should
top
have
of
given
mine.
it to you because I wanted him.
So did I.
Andy Wiggins.
I tell you what, that was a tough category.
Oh, that was so tough. The other names that I had in there.
Don't say because I might have him. I don't want Lee to get ideas and take someone.
Yeah, good point actually. But no, very happy with Andrew Wiggins as my backup pick. But
That's okay.
It's a tough one though, isn't it?
It was a tough one. I nearly wanted to give it to you, but I just
No, I'm a man of
Couldn't
the
do
people,
it.
so if the people
could have almost given you small ball 5. No, not really.
Oh,
No. Okay, Lee,
I'm
you've got
now
the third pick.
The third pick. This is where it gets really hard for me because centers dominate internationally. I think I'm looking. I have so many centers and power forwards that just go on for days. But
Right.
I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works. You did your combo with Luka Doncic and Kristaps.
Yep.
Bring my boy Josh Giddey into my team. I need some passing, and I'm doing it. And he's
Wait, give me your team so far.
Shea. Now it's going to be Giddy, Josh Giddy, Giannis, and Gobert. Wait for those sweet dimes from Giddy to Giannis.
Wait to have one guy who's shooting from 3.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done.
No, I like it. He was on my list as well. Yeah, it was tough though. Again in that guard position, looking between Giddy and Simmons.
Yeah.
I had to err on Simmons' side just for that experience and that probably that.
Give it a few years.
Give it a few years. Absolutely taking nothing away from my boy, just Giddy. Good pick though.
Good pick.
Tough pick. What do we got for the 5th round? We've got 2 to go. The penultimate round.
For the 5th round.
Oh, this is so tough.
You need a 1 here. You haven't had one
give
yet.
us a 1, surely.
2, 3, 1.
Jeez, saving the best till last for you,
Whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna go in the small forward position. I was looking at Evan Fournier, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
No.
I just couldn't.
He'll be giving you 21 night and 3 points the next.
I just couldn't do it. Therefore, I've had to go from Serbia, Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah, he's on my list.
Again, just that absolute threat from the outside. I think I've got enough big men. I've got Luka who can get crafty in the paint. Even Jamal Murray.
Yep.
I think he's going to add some just that real surefire shooting for my team.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to be a star on the team. He's got to be almost like a PJ Tucker for the Heat, and as he was for the Bucks last year. Just spot up in the corner for me, brother.
Again, he's the meat and potatoes type of player. He's not flashy.
Don't need much.
Looks like a mid-level accountant, but he's just not going to be that superstar. But he does the job for you.
Punching in digits all day, shooting hoops at night. Love it.
Right,
He is my 5th pick.
Bro.
Oh, so I've got the shooting guard position to go. Again, options are running out at a rate of knots.
Yeah.
Look, I think I'll go with, and I wanted him on my 6th man because I thought he brought a lot of electricity, but I think I'll go with Bud Hield. I
Yeah.
think I'll go with Buddy Hield.
Bud. Isn't he from like the Bahamas? I
Yeah.
think I thought when I was doing my notes.
Yeah.
The
I
Bahamas.
was actually quite surprised to see that. I honestly didn't know that Buddy Hield was an international player, but ideally would have loved him off the bench. Happy to have him on for another scoring option. Just sit at the 3. Don't even move.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even get back on defense. Just sit at the 3.
Don't get back on D.
No.
Don't need to.
Wait, who have you got? You've got Rudy.
I've got.
I've got Rudy.
You got Rudy, sorry.
I got Jokic. Jokic will be lumbering.
No,
down.
slow us.
Lumbering back.
Andy Wiggins will be. He's
Yeah,
good
He's
defensively.
good defensively.
Kyrie depends if it's an away game or home game. We won't have.
Oh dear. Oh,
No, you can just stay.
you're in trouble on the defensive end.
No.
Kyrie, Jokic lumbering back. Bud Hield, who you've said, don't get back, mate. You just stand there. She's gonna be like a 5-on-3. 5-on-3.
Offense always, good offense always beats good defense.
They'll be putting up points like the Hornets did the other
It'll be
day.
an all-star game out there.
Jeez. There you go. That's a little surprise pick.
Here's my question. Can I jot in my 6th man now?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Is that alright? Okay.
Yes,
I have you? I haven't.
Okay.
I'm saving it for the last round. You can if you want though. You put the little note on it that we're doing just
Okay.
chaos ball here.
I'm going to put my 6th man in.
Right.
And I'm going to put in my 6th man, Pascal Siakam, because he's too good not to have in anyone's team. So
Damn.
he's
Yeah.
going in my 6th man. Pascal.
Oh, that was who I wish I'd have said no because I was really trying to jag him for my 6th man.
Deary me.
But well, that takes us to the last and final round,
Yep.
and then we'll recount our teams. What have you got, Lee, for the last round of the Daily Dribble International Draft? The number 1 pick goes to me.
And then me, and then Ray.
Oh, mate, you just quickly, this is I've seen some bad beatings in my time, but you've really been stooged to the umpteenth degree. Not one number 1 pick in 6 rounds.
I think we honestly need an internal investigation into this. This
I
has
don't
been an
think so.
absolute joke from day dot.
You could argue that Lee could be off
You see me.
off duties next time.
Oh, God. Yeah, you do it. I don't want to have the duties.
Well, there you go. That's awesome for me. It's troubling just for the fact that all the players I had jotted down that I was trying to nab have just about been taken. I am going to take, though, I'm going to continue my trend of big men.
Right.
Big men that can shoot. I worry that maybe Porzingis, Embiid, they've had histories of injuries. So I want a really suitable replacement.
Hit it.
Do I want him actually? I'm just thinking he's been up and down all season. I've got to go with Vooch. Big
Yeah,
Vooch.
big Vooch.
Big Nikola Vooch.
Yeah.
Imagine Vooch coming off the bench. That's a quality big man.
As a big man, he's just someone who I think, again, that ability to stroke it from outside for three.
Yep.
Probably he's had maybe a little bit of a down season. He's had a bit of a brighter patch in the last few weeks, but probably before going to the Bulls, one of the most sought after big men, just for his ability to kind of do a bit of everything.
Yeah,
so I think he'll be a really suitable replacement. I'm backing Luka, Murray, these boys to run out a game, and just there, Vooch just filling in, taking some minutes up for Porzingis and Big Embiid to get some rest there. So
I like that.
Happy with that.
I need a small forward and I need some shooting, and there's two names I'm looking at right now. But God, now I just need a shooter, and for this reason I'm going back home and bringing Joe Ingles into the team. Jingle bells at small forward.
Getting some old legs in there.
It was either Jingle Bells or it was either Bogdanovich, but you got to go to your roots and go Jingles.
What a patriotic team this is.
It's nothing patriotic about losing here in Australia, is it?
No. He's gone with the
hometown hero.
Yeah, geez, don't mind it. I don't mind it. Jingles is good for team chemistry, I feel.
Yes.
But you're not going to get a heap out of him in terms of.
And I guess that fact he's doing a bit of mentoring to Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
Maybe he's there for a coaching role.
Wow, I tell you what, you're down to 5. There you go, nice subs, run it out, boys.
Good work.
No, you've got the final pick in the draft. Who have you got for us? Your 6th man, is it?
Yeah, 6 man. This is tough because there's a lot of good centres actually still on the board, but I'm not sure.
Tall timber.
I'm not sure I want a centre coming off my bench necessarily. Look, I'm going to go with a guy who I'm certain will bring a spark off the bench. Hometown hero. Just absolute gun for the Boomers.
Yeah.
Paddy Mills.
Yeah.
I can just envisage him coming off the bench. 20 a night.
Ooh.
Coming in for, I reckon he and Buddy Hield can share the responsibilities. Those games that Kyrie doesn't want to play, starting point guard, that's fine. We've shown that he's shown that he can perform when Kyrie's out. So I think Paddy Mills off the bench.
Round out your team.
That's what we're going with.
Jeez Louise.
Well, there you go. That rounds out the Daily Dribble draft. Let's quickly. We'll hear your opinions, guys, during the week. Round out. We'll just do a quick little grading ourselves of each team.
Okay.
Lee, we'll do all 3 teams and we'll see who we think's got the best.
Yeah, right. And when people make teams, they just put full force power into the team. Like, oh, I need this much shooting. Like, it's always so much shooting or scoring. But I think my team's pretty well rounded out.
So you really try and build it and sell us on it.
The guards, we've got the combo of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Joshua Giddey. The small forward, I've got Joe Ingles, who's probably the weak point of the team, but you need some weak points.
Do you? What?
You need some.
that's a horrible.
Not that you need weak points, but you can allow for some weak points when you've got at my power forward spot, Giannis Antetokounmpo, probably the best player in the league right now, in my opinion.
I think you've shot yourself in the foot, mate.
And Rudy Gobert. At centre, and 6 man Pascal Siakam coming in.
Yeah,
that's quite.
He's already written his team off. There's holes in the armour there.
So you're saying just because Joe Ingles is on my team that it's not a good team anymore?
The coach has already said there's weak points and they're just going to attack it now.
Yeah, I've got Giannis and Rudy Gobert on my team, and Shea. Like,
don't go after them. Go after the weak point.
Whatever.
My team in the backcourt consists of Luka Doncic and Jamal Murray. Rounding out the front 3, I've got Bojan Bogdanovic, Kristaps Porzingis, Joel Embiid, and coming off the bench, some tall timber, a bit of shooting in Nikola Vucevic.
Okay, don't mind it. But the team of the draft, in my opinion, Kyrie Irving, Buddy Hield, Andrew Wiggins, Domantas Sabonis, Nikola Jokic, and coming off the bench for that spark, Patrick Mills from Australia. I think that's a pretty well-rounded team.
Now let's have some real talk, real quick here. Biased opinion, but I'm going with my team. Lee's already. I feel just about throwing the towel in.
But I haven't. You're just saying, like, I can say Bojan Bogdanovic is your weak point. I'm just being honest. I'm saying Joe Ingles is my weak point because I'm being honest. You're not being honest in saying Bojan Bogdanovic is your weak point. He's doing nothing on your team. There's people that are going to do more and people that are going to do less. Joe Ingles is going to do less. But are you forgetting that I have Giannis on my team and Rudy Gobert?
No. The backcourt combo of Shea and Josh Giddey hasn't yielded wins this season.
Wait till you have Giannis on your team as well. It's just Josh Giddey has no one to pass to. Have you seen that compilation of Josh Giddey passing to people and then just flunking his shots? Giannis is going to convert on those shots that Popovich can't convert on.
I'll tell you what, how much ego and pride is coming out of this.
Yeah, I've got Siakam coming off my bench. Who have you got coming off your bench?
I got Big Vooch. You don't get off scot-free either, Ro.
Why don't I get off scot-free?
I'm worried about your defensive end.
I don't care.
I worry that Bud Hield is going to be just a lost soul.
No, I'm going to coach him defensively. Like, you can always
get him doing drills, punch card, and just to the baseline.
He's still young, Bud. I reckon he's got years to go.
Yeah. What is he? 27?
31?
Yeah, he's young.
No,
I was going to say, isn't he old?
No,
I feel like he's older than what he is.
No.
I'm rocking with my boys. I think I've got a good combination of outside shooting, interior presence on the defensive and offensive end, as well as some crafty. Get the team up. You want to pick some up?
I've already picked out your weak points.
We've got Luka Doncic, Jamal Murray. Plenty of shooting, plenty of ball handling. We've got Bogdanovic.
Yeah, you skimmed over that one real quick. I mean, we've got Bogdanovic, and also we've got...
all he needs to do for me is be a shooter.
As Joe Ingles, you can't say that as your argument.
Get back and be a body on the defensive end. He's been more than capable for the Jazz this year. On both ends of the floor. Embiid being an absolute menace, probably the front runner for MVP at the moment. And Big Vooch being able to fill in when Porzingis potentially gets a bit tired from knocking down so many threes.
Right.
There you have it. Guys.
Everyone's just going to back their team.
They're going to back, you have to. But what the main thing is we want to hear from you guys. Hit us up. We'll have posts during the week on our socials. Let us know whose team you think was best. We're certainly looking forward to hearing, because I know all of our egos really need a bit of a boost at the moment, mine in particular. So be sure to let us know, guys. We would love to hear from you. You guys are what make the show. So big thank you. Hit us up. Let us know. I had fun doing that. International draft.
That was good. That was as heated as it's ever gotten in this room.
I'm sweating.
Lee's a man on a mission.
Don't attack my small forward position of Joe Ingles if you've got Bojan Bogdanovic and
Who would you? So if you had to just, regardless of our draft, if you had to take one of them at the minute for a team, who would you take?
I'm taking Aussie pride Joe Ingles.
Right.
Yeah, look, I'm taking Joe Ingles as well, for the simple fact that Bogdanovic got me -5 fantasy points today, so what can I say? He's in my shit list.
There you have it. I'll take him. I just think he can do a little more well-rounded, whereas Ingles just a spot-up shooter. But nevertheless, had a good time doing that, lads. Let's just go through quickly the week that was. Just a couple of quick points to round out here that I took note of during the week.
The cool down.
Yeah. Let's simmer down. Let's simmer down.
Water.
It's quite hot actually.
Deary me.
It's quite hot in here. It's a little Asian sweatshop, but we love it. Guys, the conversation came up once again during the week. After beating the Wizards 116-87, Jason Tatum in this game dropped 51 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Big win, as I mentioned.
Yep.
Came the question again in multiple NBA circles, and myself I was asking, and as a resident Celtics fan, who are you taking? It's a question we keep coming back to. Is it Brown or Tatum? If you had to pick one...
Look, it's really dependent. I've always said Jason Tatum when I'm comparing those two, but it's really dependent on, I don't know, I think a lot of recency bias almost goes into it, because, 1 week Jaylen Brown will be out there knocking down 50 and having a few 30-point games, and then Jason Tatum looks like he's the second coming of Kobe Bryant. It's really hard to separate the two sometimes, because there seems to be a little bit of inconsistency in terms of getting them to play well at the same time.
Yep.
But I reckon if I'm taking one of those, I'm taking Jason Tatum, but goodness me, Jaylen Brown showed out at times this year as well.
Just quickly before you go, Lee, I kind of feel like Tatum's ceiling might be higher, but his floor's also lower. Yeah. I think he's got more of a range, where I think Brown is going to be more he's more consistent. He might not drop 50 points, a couple of times a year or whatever the case may be, but I think he's going to sit in that nice zone a little bit more. Right. Not have as many kind of 6-point games and things of the kind.
So you're taking Jaylen over Tatum? Or?
I would at the moment. Right. It's such an ever-evolving question with those two, but I would take him at the minute. I think he's had a phenomenal year. Really, really good year.
Yep. And without being able to actually predict the future, it's hard to just pick one of them. I remember when we were debating whether we'd take Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And
hasn't that aged? Didn't we both all say Simmons?
Yeah, we did.
I think I did. I know I did.
Let's preface it. That was 4 years ago. It feels like.
But my point is they were at similar skill set levels, which Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are on now.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at who I'd rather build a team around right now, it'd be Jason Tatum. But to add on to that, which no one really adds to would you take this person or this person conversations, is it's very dependent on the team they have around them as well. It depends where they're going and what team they're leading.
Before I take Brown, I think almost just for the fact Tatum looks at times almost like there's so much hero ball. Like it's either him, he's going to fall on his sword and die, or he's going to be a hero and score 50 points, as in this game. Like his playmaking, I think, has decreased this year.
Yeah.
Which kind of stood out a little bit.
The problem with those two, and I guess the problem with the Celtics in general, is the fact that they're so reliant on those two.
Absolutely.
Any given night we'll see those guys as you said, they'll be playing hero ball. It'll be a lot of ISO ball, and it just sort of begs the question, doesn't it? Will those two be able to coexist going forward? And based off everything we've seen so far, I would probably say no, long term.
Just because, as young as they both are, they've had that tandem now and this kind of iteration of the team for a while now. You know, they've made the conference semi-finals, things of the kind, but they're just almost, they've been better in recent weeks, no doubt about it, but just in years previous seem to be regressing a little bit, even in their overall roster construction. But nevertheless, on the Wizards though, after that blowout loss to the Celtics, how's this? They blew a 35-point lead to the Clippers. They're making real habit as well from coming back with big deficits to Clippers. But Lukey Kennard, 2 seconds to go, 4-point play. Now, how's this? Just quickly, the 4-point play won them the game.
Yeah.
The Wizards were up 8 points with 35 seconds to go. You have to literally be trying to give a game away. They had the 5-second turnover. And, that is just absolutely disgusting. And it's hard to believe this team was the number 1 seed for a while now. They're fallen very, very quickly off a cliff.
That's
inexcusable. When people think of recency bias, they need to remember their downfall this season, because I remember at the start of the season, I even was saying, geez, I can almost see them going the length, and that was
so did I. And that was without Bradley Beal, because we were waiting for him to come back and really carry things, but he's almost, as much as I hate to say it, hurt them.
Yeah, he has. And when you asked me a couple, when they were on that hot run, do you miss them? And I said a little bit, but
imagine how flat you'd be.
Yeah, I know.
Losing
very
this
flat.
I reckon a guy who needs to go, who I've massively overrated coming into this season. I thought greater responsibility. I thought he was going to be really impressive this year. Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm not high on this guy at all, to be perfectly honest with you.
He slipped down your favourable list.
Well, given the fact that I thought, maybe with an increased role, I think, and we saw what he could do when he was leading the Brooklyn Nets when those other guys are out, but he's just been massively disappointing. I don't think he really has provided much for them so far. So I don't know if he's likely to be there long term.
What a horrible loss though. That is just, you would be 35 points up and you've gone on to lose that. I know the NBA twists and turns so quickly in any given game, a 20-point lead can be kind of just evaporated very quickly, but 35 points up, you're 8 points up with 35 seconds to go. It's just, you can't forgive that.
Do you know if it was a Wizards home game or away game?
I believe it was a home game.
Imagine that. You don't do that at home.
Lukey Kennard, biggest shot of his career, 4-point play.
Do you know the other thing though that I'm just thinking of? The fact that, yes, it's such an awful loss, but that's the kind of thing that scars you going forward. They will not feel safe in any game going forward this year.
Yep. Muscle memory, isn't it?
They might be up 25 and they'll still have that little thing in the back of their head that said, look, we're not certainties to win this game. Hopefully it's a turning point for them and they don't make the same mistake. But
in disguise where they're like, oh God, nothing's safe. We can't.
They need to get their season back on track quickly because they're falling into the play-in, and we've got the Hawks who are on a tear as of late. The Knicks competing for that spot. They could well find themselves not even within the play-in after being the number 1 seed, which would just be catastrophic.
It'd be a nightmare.
So interested to see how that unfolds. We saw during the week. Now he sat out the last 2 games, I believe. But we saw the return of AD during the week versus the Nets. The Lakers winning that one 106-96. We saw LeBron sat out as well, but we saw kind of what we were hoping this team would be. That hustle, AED on the defensive end. He had a minutes restriction there, didn't play too much, but they just looked like the team we hoped they would be. LeBron, did you see that play, like the back-to-back steals?
Yeah, that was
unbelievable.
That was massive.
It was a good win. They've kind of dropped 2 on the trot now, which is less than ideal, but yeah, it's good to see AD back. Hopefully this is where they can launch their season. I really hope. I wouldn't write them off yet, but after their loss to the Hornets today, they're a frustrating team. They really are.
Isn't it funny though, both of those games have lost without LeBron James, this most recent one without AD. So it's really going to take, particularly LeBron, but AD as well, for them to be able to, go to the really pointy end of the year. I'm still very sceptical.
Big mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's a massive mountain, and we haven't seen the Lakers at full strength hardly at all this year.
Yep.
So they're going to have to show that they can string it all together at the right time of the year, or else they're not going to make any noise.
I think something else they need to do is, and this is what I'm wanting from them, is just to prove themselves a bit more. Because they really are the laughing stock of the league right now. I just love for them to turn some heads, especially my head, and say, no, we are dangerous and we can do some damage. Because right now, Hornets won against them today. I'm not scared of the Lakers.
Granted, without AD and LeBron, you only got up by 3 points.
Nick says get off your high horse,
but do you think other teams in the league, they know what LeBron's capable of? AD, seeing what Russ can do, you'd still be wary of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they're a dangerous lurker, but I still think they need to prove themselves first before they start going on a supposed run.
What's on?
Supposed.
Come again one more time.
Supposed.
There you go. Like it. Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of proving to do. Big second half of the season coming up, guys. We've had an absolute blast today.
Dribble 20.
Dribble 20, manscaped.com. Guys, we really appreciate your support on that front. Do it for us, but do it for you. I just speaking with you, Lee, and I think yourself, Ro, my balls are looking great. They're feeling great. They're smelling great.
Yeah.
Happy days with Manscaped, guys. Use our code dribble20 at manscaped.com and do your balls a favour.
Oh, and as we were mentioning before, this bad boy is going to be your saviour.
Kind of blending into your black top there, but the weed whacker.
The weed whacker. Take control of your nose. I mean, goodness me, you look absolutely awful when you've got hair
separates the
streaming
boys
down
to
your
men.
nose.
Not only that, but it clears the airways as well. You think boys are clearing it?
No, it's hair.
Yeah,
there you go.
I tell you what, I'm looking forward to. We're hoping it'll be next week that we have the old Roadcaster Pro.
Our mics. We're going to have a mic each, so
hopefully next week
we're all going to sound equal. It's going
to be phenomenal. We've, as we said, we've invested a bit of cash, a bit of time into ourselves, so we really appreciate. Just bank balance, seen better days. But we appreciate you guys sticking with us. At times the audio, the video mightn't have been that great, but we're looking to take things to the next level. Got a lot of things going on behind the scenes as well, potential partnerships, growing, things of the kind. There's big things happening every day here at Daily Dribble HQ.
Yep.
Guys, help us out. Be sure to check out the podcast wherever you listen to the show. Subscribe. Check out the socials: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Dribble. We're on them all.
Yep.
That was.
I reckon we've covered all of them.
Covered them all. Covered it. And use that Manscaped code.
Yep.
Guys, big episode coming in next week. Hopefully with some new flashy equipment. We can't wait to record then. Till then though, love you. Bye.